All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 26th day of August 2026. So the TVT volume just got bigger, and it actually got smaller. The code for it got bigger, but for you guys, it used to be three different things you had to put together and kind of piece it all together. And now it's just one thing. And we'll get right into that in a minute. Again, if you haven't taken the free trial, go to tv-trades.ai, take the free trial there. This is what it looks like. tv-trades.ai. Just click on the free trial. It's going to bring you all the way down to the bottom, where it's $25 a week, $90 a month, and $9.97 a year. If you happen to want to move to the annual, and you're on the monthly already, you're on the weekly already, I will give you a discount on the annual. Right? If you want to swap over, it's up to you. I mean, it's no big deal. I make less when you go to the annual, but you guys don't have to pay as much. So that's that's where the benefit is for you guys. Now, last week we ended up with 4,000 even, 10 trades with 2 stop outs. All right. Now last week we were using this stuff down here. Now this right here, if you look at it, you have the TV trades range trigger, you have a TVT vol, and you have a TVT vol. Now, the reason you have 2 TVT volumes is because one of them is the longer term, which is the black, and one of them is the shorter term, which is based on the actual chart, which is the blue and red. Okay, so you get to see the current volume compared to the larger time frame volume. And then you have the TV trades range trigger in there to give you the synthetic divergence. Okay, so you have 3 different things and using pieces of all 3 things. Now, the longer term volume, if you are on a range chart, all right, if you're on a range chart, then you need this thing down here that tells you how long it takes for 3 bars, because that helps you determine how long your longer term volume should be. All right, you want your longer term volume to be something bigger than that number. It's 1 minute and 5 seconds right now. So if your longer term volume is, see, this is the longer term because it's black, the area is black. 5 minutes is probably a stretch. 3 minutes would probably be okay. Okay. So all you're looking for is to have all the volume on one side with synthetic divergence at the edge or out of the NTZ channel, the blue area, out of the channel. That's what you're looking for, okay? So to set up the longer term volume, you get this thing right here. You can get that from either one of these volume things. You just check this little box right here, and it'll show it for 3 bars or for 4 bars or for 5 bars. Okay. You want your longer term volume to be some number bigger than that. All right. And then we have both volumes, long and short term, on one side, and you have a pullback against that volume. Then you want to get in and jump back into the flow of that volume. Okay. That's what you want to do there. So we crap, I can't get that phone call. The new thing that I have, you see how it's 3 separate things. You got to have the TV trades range trigger, and for that you got to have the password. You have to display synthetic divergence, and you have to come in here and turn on the synthetic divergence line and turn off the div step line right there, and also make sure you don't have that div line turned on. That's how you get the synthetic divergence line on there right now. And you got to have the 2 separate volume things. But what I've done, the new thing, yes, I am recording this soon. And what I've done, the new thing is you just need to put on, you got to refresh your desktop and all that, so you have the latest version. Just click on the TVT volume like that. Okay. And this isn't the latest version, but when you go to the latest version, if I hit the latest version right here, I'm going to do just update on this one, update to the latest version. This is the latest version. It's got all that stuff all in one place. You see that? You don't have to have 3 separate indicators. By default, it goes on with a 3 minute. Okay, so it matches that one perfectly because this one right here says 3 minutes. Okay, so on this one, see all the stuff you have to set in here. It's all preset for you, but before, it was just this stuff right here. When you go to the TVT volume, you go to properties on the input side. Now the new version On the input side, you have a lot of things in there that you can mess around with. One is a synthetic divergence. That's the red line right there. Okay, you want to show your synthetic divergence in there. The no trade zone channel, that's the blue area in the background. You can change it to be whatever color you want, but that's all preset for you. The zero line is the white line right here. In here I had set that individually, that white line right there. It was an individual thing that I put in. Okay, now that is part of it. It's in here. Okay, you can set the thickness of that right in here. The zero line thickness is right here. You can change the color of it if you want. You can change it white, green, gray, whatever. You can make it thicker if you want, or leave it at 2. But that's going to be in the front. And the positive and negative colors, this is for the actual chart volume, the volume that's coming off of the chart, whatever volume you have it set to, whatever time frame you have it set to. That's where you're going to get that volume. Okay, and there is no password for the TVT vol, John. You don't need one. And so all that stuff is all set up for you already, right? And the minutes right here for the longer time frame, the overlapping volume, that's right here. So earlier, Hawaii James, was asking me if you can get the old TVT volume in here somehow. If you want to get the old TVT volume and you want to change the time frame, rather than have it just be the base chart right here, what you would do is change this to whatever you want it to be, which would equal the old one, and set this right in here. Whatever colors you want it to be, you set that there. So it's a little bit of a workaround to get it to be the old one. But by default, it's going to have the base chart is going to be these colors, and then the larger time frame is going to be in here. You choose whatever time frame you want right here. So for instance, if this were, say, 5 minutes and 30 seconds, if that were 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or down here if it said 5 minutes and 30 seconds, because you still have the option to show the combined bar time right here. Okay, so if that said 5 minutes and 30 seconds, then you would want this number to be something bigger than 5 minutes, like 7 minutes. Okay, and then your larger time frame is going to be bigger than the time frame that it takes for 3 bars. Okay, so it's all in one place now. So all this stuff you don't need. Okay, you can get rid of all that and just drop one of these on. Okay, so one of the questions that Wayne, I believe it was you that asked earlier, tell you the minute charts. These are range bar charts right here. So I'm going to put this on the 39 range. That's what I'm actually trading with. These are range bar charts. So you base the number of minutes, Wayne, off of hang on. You base the number of minutes off of whatever what the heck, whatever it comes up with when you have that thing turned on. Okay. When you have this thing turned on in here. In here, the number of minutes is down at the bottom. The combined bar time is down here. So if you're using a range bar, you want whatever minute you're using to be something greater than that. Okay, that's how that works. Okay. Yeah, that's how that works. So if it's on a 19 range, it depends what this number is. This number is going to be actually a lot larger toward the end of the session right now. That number is going to be a lot larger because the 19 range bars are going to take a lot longer to generate. Okay, but right now it said the 19 range bars, for 3 of them to generate, it's taken over a minute right now is what it's saying. Okay, there is a trade here on the NQ I'm in right now. Sorry, here it is. That right there, the open of this bar was the trade on the NQ. Okay, that's 12 ticks locked in on that. And we're out with 12 on that. Okay. Let me just try to keep track of this today. Again, what we're looking for is with synthetic divergence to come out of the no trade zone, either go to the edge, like that right there. It's going to go right to the edge, like that right there would be okay. That right there would be okay. This is okay. It doesn't have to go all the way into the oversold. It's just got to go to the edge while the volume is all on the other side. So on this one right here, you see how this is, Wayne, you see how this one right here is 4 minutes and 30 seconds? So you want that volume to be, you don't want it to be 45 minutes. You want it to be bigger than 45 minutes, but like 5 minutes. I mean, bigger than 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, bigger than 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So like this is what you want. Okay, so now I can get rid of all this stuff that I have on here right now. Get rid of all those things. And just come up here and drop one of those on. And I can hit refresh on it and update to the latest version. And then go in here and set the time to, what was it? 5 minutes is, I don't remember what it was. Let's go down here and do this. So that says 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So that should be set to 5 minutes. Some number bigger than that. Okay. And that's it. So pretty easy to put it all together, right? It's pretty simple stuff. Good. Well, we got 12 ticks on this first trade right here, on that first NQ trade. This is actually a trade here on the ES2. It was at the open of that bar. It was also a trade there. Okay. All right. So now we just wait. Wait for more opportunities. The option stuff, I had the minions going after the results so far today. These are the results right now. It's my first time looking at them, but these are the results so far today for the picks that came out today. So VST is down a little bit. LCIT is a big winner right there, and it's just kind of been a mixed day really. Planner is pretty good. It's been a mixed day, and the FOMC is a lot better, but it's mostly in just one thing. The LCIT right there, that was in the FOMC group, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So 77.6 in the TSLL. The SOXS and the SOXL, that's something I'm going to get into in a few minutes here with you guys. You know, NVIDIA is reporting after the bell today, right? And why did I switch to a high range for the ES? Usually use 7. Do I have it on high range? I didn't need to have it on high range. Sorry, I do usually use 7. I'm going to switch it back to 7. That makes a lot of sense, Greg. Thank you for pointing that out. That's why that was taking so darn long over here. Let's check that setting out again right now. Okay. If you show combined bar time, 7 minutes. Okay, so this should be set to 10 minutes. Maybe 8 minutes. We'll go to 10. 10 minutes. There we go. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out, Greg. Oh, Wayne said it too. All right. Sorry if I explained it already, but what is the black shadow behind the TV vol and how is it used with the red blue shaded areas? The black area is the longer term volume. Okay, John, it's the longer term volume. So what I just showed right in here, let's do it this way. Let's take it off a range bar for a minute. Let's go to a 5 minute. Okay. So now this is a 5 minute chart, and it's got the bottom is the longer term volume is set to 5 minutes. So it's exactly like the chart volume. But if I go in here and let's shut off that thing on the bottom so it's not distracting you anymore, but I set this to 10 minutes. So you can see the longer term volume is the black. So the longer term direction volume is bearish right now. Okay. And when it's over here like this, the short term volume, the volume that's with this chart, is also bearish. So if the long and the short term volume are bearish and price pulls back against it, that's when you want to sell the open of the next bar. Okay. Yes, I'll explain all that, Masood. I will explain all that. Okay. That's what you want to do, John. When you have everything all on one side, all the volume on one side, and price pulls against it, and like right in here, and price pulls against it, you sell the open of the next bar. Okay. When price pulls against everything's on the bottom, price pulls against it, you sell the open of the next bar. Right here, it's all on the upside. Price pulls against it, you buy the open of the next bar. Okay, same thing right here. Price pulls against it. And when I say pulls against it, it's got to get to the edge of the no trade zone. It doesn't have to get all the way into the oversold like this one here and that one there. It's just got to get to the edge of the no trade zone. All right. When it gets to the edge of no trade zone, you buy the open of the next bar. Edge of no trade zone, you buy the open of the next bar. Right here, it's all on the other side. Gets to the edge of no trade zone, you sell the open of the next bar. Okay, it's as simple as that. So if you use it on a 5-minute chart, or if you break it down to a 1-minute chart, so the numbers aren't so big, and then you put your volume, because now you know this is a 1-minute chart, and so you can go and put the volume on something that you know is going to be a bigger chart. Do a 2-minute chart. All right, so you know it's longer term volume. You can do the same thing. It's just the numbers are a lot smaller. You're not looking at 800 ticks per bar because the numbers are a lot smaller. Okay. So you can do it this way. If you want to do it with time-based bars, you can do it with time-based bars. This little thing over here is for bars that are not time-based. Right? It gives you the actual time that you need to consider because they're not time-based. But if you're using time-based bars, then you don't need that. Does that make sense? I know I'm saying a lot of words really fast, but I just want to make sure that you all get that. Hey, Jenny. You can use minutes or ranges. You can use whatever you want. All right. And it doesn't just have to be futures. You can use whatever you want on whatever you want. Like you can do, I'm going to get into this stuff in a little while, but if you do SOXS, for instance, and I wouldn't do the SOX on a 1-minute, but you could do SOXS on a 30-minute. Okay. And if you're going to be doing the SOXS on a 30-minute, then you're going to want your longer term volume to be something greater than 30 minutes, right? So you want that to be, let's say 45 minutes. Okay. So now, once it populates there. So now, when all the volume is on one side and price pulls against it, in this case right here, when all the volume is on one side and price pulls against it, you sell. You sell the close of the bar. Okay. Right here. All the volume is on one side, price pulls against it, you sell the close of the bar. Right here, all the volume's on the other side, price pulls against it, you buy the open on the bar. That's if you want to do it on a larger time frame for equities, that is how you can do it. And what I'm talking about with this is not so much trading the equities themselves, but trading the derivatives of the equities, trading the options and stuff like that. Now, this isn't the formula that I use to create the option trades, Masood. I know that that's probably what you're doing. So, Philip, if you're using a 5-minute, you should use a 15-minute. It's up to you. You can use a 15-minute, 10-minute. I mean, you can use whatever you want. And just so you guys understand, the stuff that's going to show up in here, in this little drop-down window right here, is the stuff that you have in here. Okay? Like, I don't have a 17-minute, all right? But if I wanted to do it on a 17-minute, I just do a 17 like this, click add, and now I can come in here and choose this and go to a 17-minute. Okay, so just so you understand, the stuff that shows up in this tool right here is pulling it from whatever you set up in here in your custom intervals. Okay, so Philip, I think the question you're asking is, for a 5-minute, should I use a 3x, which is the 15-minute, right? That's more, I think, what you're getting at. Then you should use something bigger than the 5-minute. Use something bigger than the 5-minute. Okay. It depends how active the markets are. If they're really, really slow, then if they're really slow, then you're going to want to use something a little closer. Am I still using the tight stops as with the other indicators? If I'm doing the range bar stuff, Jenny, then yeah, I'm still using the same risk management with the range bar stuff. But if you're doing stuff on minute-based bars like this, well, then you need to use price action a little bit. Okay, like right in here, it said right in here, if that would have made it out of the no trade zone, it didn't. But if it would have hit the edge of it right there, I would have been selling the open of that bar. If I was selling the open of that bar, my stop would have been somewhere above this bar right here. All right, whatever number that is, my stop would have been somewhere above there. My expectation would be that it would get at least down below this bar, probably down to this level down here is what my expectation would be. Okay, the question was, am I still using the same type stops as with the other indicators? And so that is my response to that. Okay, see over here, the volume is mixed. There's color above and below the white line. You don't want that. When it's like that, you just stay away. Okay, made it in here, David. Good. Now you should have gotten 2 emails. If you didn't get the emails that I suggested you should have gotten, then you need to check your spam folder or something like that. Okay, David S. The red is not out of the blue. On this one, no, it's not. No, that's what I was saying. It wasn't actually a trade because it didn't make it out of the blue. But if it did make it out of the blue, then it would be a trade. Yes, thank you, Jessica. Okay. So those were a lot of words. There was something I wanted to show you guys. Let me put this back on the end queue for a minute, and I'll see if I can do it with just futures. And I'll put this on the 39 range again. And drag it down here again. And I just hit save on that and come out here and go out to one more thing like this one. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this over so we can take trades on it if we see them. If you guys see a trade set up over here and I'm not taking it, let me know, okay? Because my eyes aren't going to be, they're not really going to be on these charts right here for the next few minutes. Okay. Because what I want to show you right now. If you want to change the ES to 10-minute, if it's very slow today, it's the ES right now, the last 3 bars runs 7 minutes and 19 seconds. So I don't know what it's set to right now. It's at 10-minute, yeah. So just leave it at 10-minute. You want to have the larger time frame and the smaller time frame. For right now, I mean, I know it is very slow today. We might not get any trades at all on there. I mean, this morning I think I only had like 9 trades or something like that. It was a really slow morning. And for those of you guys that do the morning session or do both things, next week we're not going to do afternoon sessions anymore. We're getting rid of the afternoon sessions. We're going to merge them into the morning sessions. The morning session is going to become a little bit longer. And we haven't decided exactly where we're going to start the merge yet, but it'll probably be around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning session. And Dwayne's going to start doing the Logic 247 and all that stuff. And we'll start talking about options in there too. Okay, just so you guys know. I know a bunch of you guys do both. Anyway, so what I want to show you in here, this NVIDIA reports after the build today, right? So let's just look at NVIDIA. Stocks, this guy right here. Reports after the bell today. And let's look at it on a 30-minute chart. Okay, now I'm not as interested in all the stuff that's going on down here. I'm going to delete all this stuff anyway. Just delete it all. Okay, and if I'm going to put anything on, it's going to be that guy. It's got it all in one place. And I'll just do update on all charts now. Okay, and because this is on a 30-minute, I'm going to put this on a larger time frame than 30-minute, like 45-minute. Okay, it's just going to be something bigger so you can see the current volume and the larger volume. What I really want to show you with NVIDIA, you guys keep an eye on these things over here for me. Let me know if something's triggering over there. Now, NVIDIA has earnings after the bell today. The thing about NVIDIA and earnings is I did this thing a while back. I tried to find it, Jessica. I know I had sent it to you and I couldn't find it again. But NVIDIA kind of works the same way all the time, where like a week before earnings, it peaks. And when the earnings comes out, it tanks. And then it gets back to where it was, and then it usually goes up. So what I was doing, I forgot it had earnings coming out this week, or I would have said something about it last week. I forgot they had earnings coming out this week. We should have been buying puts on this last week. But we did go over it this morning, and I did go over it yesterday some too. What I expect when the earnings come out is it's gonna move down probably about to like right here. I think probably down to like 200, right in that area, and then recover over the next few days, most of the way probably. That's my thought on it. You know, the earnings are probably going to be great and everything's going to be good, but it's already baked in. Right here, it got baked in, and I think that that's going to be coming off when the European markets open up and the Asian markets open up, you're going to see this start to drop a little bit, probably. So what to do about that? You can just buy puts if you want to. But what I was going over this morning, I went over the cost of the puts this morning and the cost of the at-the-money puts with Friday expiration this morning. The puts, I want to say, the puts were like $5.20 and the calls were $7.60 or something like that. The calls are a little bit more expensive. And that was all the at-the-money stuff. So what I want to go over was these other things that you can do, like the SOXL. Okay. Now the SOXL runs very close to what the NVIDIA runs. If I make the SOXL right now, if I turn it into bars and shut off the thin bars, I'll just make them all black. Okay. So you can see the SOXL runs very close to the way NVIDIA runs. SOXL is a 3x derivative of the semiconductors. So it runs very close to that. This is going to be more reactive as far as options go. This is going to be more reactive than NVIDIA will be, more than likely. In this you get like 100, 200% difference, and in this you might get 100% difference. It all depends on how it moves, but this is going to be a lot more reactive than that. This actually costs about the same as that right now as far as options go. They're about the same price, calls and puts, about the same price. So that's the SOXL. Now, if we put in one more, this little guy, and this is one of my favorites, so XS. I'm going to say same percent scale, but and we'll leave it green, but I'm going to change it from a line to bars and not thin bars. I'm going to change these colors too. I'll make this one blue. Okay, blue and blue. Okay, so you can see that the SOXS runs opposite the SOXL and NVIDIA. You see that? So the difference is that this guy right here is half the price of these other two. And the reaction with options that you're going to get from the SOXS is going to be percentage-wise. It'll be about the same as the SOXL, but you can buy more of these. So your exit strategy can be different. Okay, like let's say this one here, let's say it's $700 per option, and this is $350 per option, and that's pretty close to what it is. This is, I'll go look at the actual numbers, but I think the SOXLs this morning were between $600 and $700 each, and the SOXSs were half that, even less than half that. So you could buy a couple of these for every one of those, and you get the same return. Percentage-wise, you get the same return, or better, and you get a different exit strategy. Because if you only got, say you got one or two of these on, then you only have one or two places where you can exit. Or if you can only afford one of those, you can only afford one, you only have one exit place. But with this, you could exit one at 100% and keep a runner, for 200%, 300%. I just want to point out the difference between the SOSX, the SOXL, and the NVIDIA, because NVIDIA reports after the bell. So let me explain for anybody who doesn't know about this part of it. We haven't had any trades yet, right? For anybody who doesn't know about this part of it, the SOXL is a long derivative of the semiconductors. So when the semiconductors go up, the SOXL goes up. Okay, when semiconductors go down, the SOXL goes down. It just goes down more significantly because it's a 3x. Now the SOXS is a bear of the semiconductors. So when they go up, the SOXS goes down. When they go down, the SOXS goes up. Okay, but it costs half as much. So you can get into it for half the price, experience the same volatility, experience the same percentage gain at half the price. All right. Now, in all the picks that go out at night, the SOXS and the SOXL are in the top 3. Those two are in the top 3. I think SNDK is the one on top of that. SanDisk is the only one that's on top of that. I think SanDisk is number 1, and SOXL and SOXS are 2 and 3. And the picks that go out at night. Okay. Just so you guys know. So, that was a lot of words. I just spoke for 30 minutes straight, giving you guys a bunch of information. Does anybody have any questions about any of the stuff that I put out there so far? I did hit the record button, right? Yes, it does appear to be recording. Good. And it's recording the right monitor. That's good too. That's always a question, you know. I've messed it up that bad in the past. Okay. So let me step back here for a minute because I see Jenny. I saw something from you just a second ago came through, and I want to explain this part again because this is really, really easy. Okay, if you want to do it on a smaller time frame, if you don't want to do it on range bars and you don't want to risk a lot of money, then you can do this on like a 1 minute. You know, if you want to do the ES, you can do the ES on whatever. You can do the ES even smaller than a minute. And you got to have a certain level to do smaller than a minute, but you can do like 30 seconds. You see, the bars aren't that big when it's a 30-second thing, so your risk isn't going to be that big. And if you're going to do something like a 30-second there, then you're going to want to set the larger time frame to something other than 10 minutes, like maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay, so all the volumes in the same place at the same time. All right, you see that? So right here, when that's all up there and this is down here, you buy the open of the next bar, and your risk is going to be really small on this, just a few ticks, maybe a point. Okay, if you do it this way. Now, I think you got to have, I don't know what level of trading view you have to get seconds. So if you just do it with minutes, then it would be a little bit different. Yes, the scanners, Masood. I know you're itching to get to that. I wanted to get all this stuff done, then we'll get to that because the options stuff really kicks in at 3:30 when the options actually do kick in. But I want to cover all this so you guys all get this. All right, make sure you understand all of this before I move on to the scanner stuff. Okay, because Monday I couldn't get to my computer in time to get all this stuff out at 3:30 for you guys like I normally do. And Jessica said she will help me with that. Hey Ross, you joined late. Sorry about that, but you've been seems really funny with the blue line. You know what I'll do? I'll just save this and I'll copy it here and I'll stick it out here. All right, I just sent that out there. Click on that link, Ross. And when you click on that link, it will open up. And in the upper right, it's only 2 charts. So no matter what level you have, as long as you got essential or better, it's going to be showing 2 charts. Click on the link in the upper right-hand corner and hit copy, and you'll have a copy of it. Okay. Now, the way I have it set up right now, this is on a 30-second and this is on a minute. So you might want to, I'll change that and I'll give it to you with a minute and 2 minute. Okay. A 1 minute and a 2 minute down here. Okay, let me save it. And now it's the same link. So if you click on it now. Okay. Why isn't the NQ by now? Because the volume is split right here. It's black on, you see the white? It's got color on both sides of it. You want it to be like this, well, like this right here. Where there's white with nothing below it. Like this right here. Nothing below it. Like that right there. This one right here. Okay, and you see the volume's been bullish all day. That's why the longer term right there is all up on top like that. Now, I'm not sure that that's the right time. Like, let's look at the volume here because it's set to 45 minutes, so that's not exactly right. We gotta, because this is on a range bar, because it's on a range bar, I have to see what the time is on this. Okay, so the time is 3 minutes, so we should set this to 5 minutes, not 45 minutes. Okay. And so, John, this is why. this is what you were looking at right here. This would have been a trade right in here. All right, this would have been a trade right in here. But with it set the way that it was, it wouldn't have been. This would be a trade right here. This would have been a trade right there. 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 That would have been a trade. That is the only one that didn't work out at all. That would have been a trade right there. And then going in the other direction, this right in here would have been a trade somewhere in here. Right here. That would have been a trade. And right here, that would have been a trade. That would have been a trade. They're all going halfway before they go in the other direction. But for me, that would have been giving me 10 ticks in profit. Once it goes 4 points, it bumps my stop to plus 10. And the slippage has been pretty bad lately. It's okay. All right. Yeah, if you trade on a 30-second bar. Well, that was at the ES. On the ES, the 30-second bar is not that bad. But on the NQ, a 30-second bar is a challenge. All right, so it's 3:09. I want to go through something else in here really quick. All right, now a lot of you guys already know this, but I know we have some new guys that don't know this. You just clicked on it. It seems the background is still a little off. Well, yours isn't going to be. I don't know if yours is the same as mine right now. You're talking about the black background in here, or the one that I had in here, because I just changed the black background on this. Okay. Ross, hang on a sec. The NQ, what do I recommend? If you got the NQ on a 39 range, then your volume that you set it to has to be some number bigger than that. That's the number of minutes. It's going to be something bigger than that. Right now, mine is on 5 minutes. Okay, yours was probably set to 45 minutes. I think that's what it was set to a minute ago. Okay. Yeah, I didn't reset this one. But if you set this, click on this, and set the comparison time frame to 5 minutes. And yours will probably line up with mine. Okay, because I just changed it a minute ago. All right, Masood, you've been so patient. So let me get into this really quick. All right, we don't have a trade here, or we do actually have one over there on the. Where's my ES DOM? There it is. This is actually a trade here on the ES DOM with a 1 minute and 30-second thing going on. So with this, the stop isn't the same. It's not the same 4-tick range stop or the same risk management strategy and all that. If you're doing it on the minute and 30-second thing, okay. My stop on this is going to have to be, using the 8-tick stop still works. It's going to be up here above this bar, probably above 275. All right, so the thing that I want to show you, Masood, let's just do this right now. Okay, we're going to go, and I'm going to take off the TVT vol on this. Now, there are several steps to what you have to do. For sale by colors. Does a color change overlay? I'm not sure what you mean, Daryl. While you type that out, let me throw this together for Masood, okay? So you're going to put on the TV trades, right? Just turn that on. Okay, and once you put that on, it doesn't matter what symbol you have, it doesn't matter what time frame you have, none of that matters. Okay, because what it does is it turns on the scanner automatically, and it turns it on for list 1A automatically. Okay, and the time frame, it does it for the 24-hour and for the 6-hour. Okay, so what it does is it goes out and it scans the equities or the symbols that are in list 1A, the 18 symbols that are in list 1A. It scans them to see if on the 24-hour or the 6-hour time frame, either one of those meet the requirement for a trade setup. That's what it does. None of them do right now. But if I go to list 1B, maybe something in there meets the requirement. See, it's turning right there. There, 3 of them in there meet the requirement. Okay, so now that you have those 3 things that meet the requirement, they're all calls. They give you the time frame, they give you the price, and they're all calls. So you following along so far, Masood? Okay, good. All right, so the next thing you have to do then, and this is usually what I do. I usually have my minions do this, but the next thing that you have to do is you go out to your account, wherever your account is, and I'm going to use this account here that I have just for showing you guys stuff at Schwab. You go out here, and I'll get into all that stuff in a minute, Dan. You go out here, and you find the symbol. The symbol is Mr. Let's look at Mr. MSTR. Okay, and it says it's a call. So you look at the call, and I give you the expiration date that you're looking for. Okay, it's giving you the price. So it's going to give you a 123.50. When I ran it, it looked at 123.50. And I'll give you the expiration date, like Friday's expiration date. Wednesdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you get Friday's expiration date. Thursday, Friday, you get the following Friday. Okay, so today, yesterday, and Monday, use this Friday's expiration. So 8/28 is the expiration. And so you come in here, and it's a call. So for me, I'd hit buy to open, and you look at your delta. When it's a call, you want a delta that's as close to 50 without going under. Okay, it's close to 50 without going under. So this is the delta. This is the exchange. I'm sorry. This is the strike price you want to go for. All right. If it was 124, it's below 50. If it was 123, I'm sorry, 123 is what we're going for. 122, it's not as close to 50 as you can get. All right. You can still go for the 122 if you want to, but the price changes, okay, dramatically. Okay. So I'll talk about that too in a minute, Jeff. Hang on a second. Something's happening, and I gotta go and see what it was. Okay. All right. So in here now, you want to get the delta that's to determine the right strike price. You got to have the delta that's closest to 50 without going under. All right, for calls and for puts, you want the delta that's closest to 50 without going over, closest to negative 50 without going over. Okay. So that's how you determine which one it is. Now, I do all this for you. I have my minions go out and do all this stuff for you, and I'll have them do it for you again in 15 minutes at 3:30. I'll have them do it for you again. Okay. So step one, you come in here, you run the scanner. Now, I'll give you my scanner layouts, and you just have to run it, and whatever it comes up with is what you're going to go and check on. Now, these lists that you see in here, let me slide this over to the side. These lists that you see in here, down here at the bottom, list 1A through 4B. Really, it's 1A through 4A. All the symbols in that are listed in the order of frequency and amount of gap. Okay, so the stuff in 1A is the most likely to gap overnight. That's like your USNDK, your SOXSs, your MISTERs. Well, this is actually in list 2. MISTER and GDX and FCX are in list 2. But when the 6-hour candle closes here at 3:30, there may be stuff in list 1A that qualifies. There may be stuff right now because it's always changing, but there's not right now. But I bet there will be when the 6-hour candle closes at 3:30. So that's the order that they're listed in. All right. And so then you got to take them and you go and get the symbol, and then you go out to Schwab, or in my case, at Schwab. For you, it might be Thinkorswim or something like that. But you go out wherever your account is, you get the delta that's closest to 50 without going under for calls, or closest to negative 50 without going over for puts, and you get your price in there. Now, you don't have to buy at the ask. You can usually split the bid and the ask. If there's a huge difference between the bid and the ask, if there's a huge spread in there, just skip it. You don't have to buy. I mean, you don't want to enter something that you're going to lose 50% on, as soon as you enter it. So If there's a big spread, try to split it. All right, see if you get filled on the split. You don't have to pay the ask. You can try to get, you can put in a bid, something in between here and here, or just at the mid, and a lot of times it'll fill. Now, that is how you buy a single one. All right, that's how you get in there and you get a single one. Now, what I give you when I do it, because I know I have the minions go out there and do it all for me, and what I give you is, let me find it. Here it is. Like this stuff right here. So what this shows, and let me explain this in great detail here, okay? I'll put all the scanner links out there for you in a minute, John. Okay. And what this shows you is SOXL yesterday at 340 or something like that, I think is when I put this out. It said SOXL 116 puts. The last price at the time that I did it, the last price was 625. What is the last price, you might ask? The last price is this price right here. All right. Now that price is going to change from the time I put this out to the time that the market's closed. That price is going to change. But once I print it, it's printed, and that's what you got to work with. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use this last price. That price is going to be different. But that's what I'm basing the calculation on for the gain and loss on the next day. I'm basing it on that last price. Now, the next day, when I do the calculation on the gain or the loss, it's based upon that last price. That last price is not going to be the same the next day. This last price right here on the next day is not going to be the same as that last price. All right, it's not. That's not what it's there for. The last price here is the last price at the time that I made the cut. Okay, and that's what the gain or loss is based upon. Okay, I just wanted to straighten that out because I know there's some confusion about that. Now, the TVT delta and Dan, the score column, it was a scored. I think it's got a D on it. Scored. There's a simple in the scored is, I think, what you're talking about, right? If, I want to point this out too, because this was something one of you guys had asked me to put together for you. Chad, I think, asked me for this. If there are earnings, and it is something that shows up, it'll say it in here. It'll say the earnings. It'll say after close or before open, something like that in the earnings column. All right. So if NVIDIA happened to show up on today's list, it would have something in here in the earnings saying, after the close or before the open, there's going to be earnings. So, okay, the source column, yeah. Well, in the source column, one of them is simple and one of them is scored. And let me show you what that is. Okay. In here, oops, let me connect again. It's a different calculation. Okay. When we get down here where it says either, right here, you have both or either, both only or either. There's a simple and the scored are the two different calculations. So you can have a simple calculation or you can have a scored calculation. And the way that it is in here, you can have it so it says it qualifies for both calculations or it qualifies for only one calculation. And let me show you what the actual calculations are. Okay, so you can see they're all from the trigger. All right, the simple on the trigger is this. The simple is this. At the time on a 6-hour chart or a 24-hour chart, not on a 39 range, on a 6-hour chart or 24-hour chart, the simple is when it does this right here. This would be a simple. This would satisfy the simple. It would say sell the open. Or this would right here would say buy puts. Right here. That would say buy puts. Okay, so you buy puts and the next day it goes down. That's the simple calculation. The other calculation uses that instead of that. And what you would be looking for is this right here. That would say buy the open of the next bar or buy a call. Let me see, there's another one right here. This would say buy a call right here. Buy a call. Okay. And let's see if I have another one in here somewhere. This one right here would say buy a call. If you bring price up, it'd say buy a call. that's at the close of that bar, it would say buy a call. Okay, and the close of that bar is at, well, this is on the 6-hour chart. What is this? A 6-hour chart? Yeah. What the heck? Oh, it's the NQ. That's the problem. If you do it, if you're doing it on something that wasn't the NQ, like NVDA, the 6-hour chart would be at 3:30. It'd be at 3:30 and 9:30. Okay, so like right here, it would say buy a call, and you buy a call at 3:30. It says buy a call, so you buy a call between 3:30 and 4, and the next day it goes up. And right here, it'd say buy a put, so you buy a put between 3:30 and 4, and the next day it eventually goes down. Okay, right here it would say buy a put, and today it went down. Those are the two different things that that come up. Is when they're about the same, and it doesn't really matter. That's why I have it go out and do it for what I have it set to by default. I don't know, let's go see what I have it set to by default. Let me go out here on the FOMC. Let's just say don't save on that. I really probably should have saved. Here, I'm going to share this with you guys. All right, this is the layout for the FOMC stuff. So, John, you had asked this a minute ago. This is the one for the FOMC. Right, I'm going to type FOMC at the end of it. That's the layout for the FOMC. And if you go in here and you look on this, on the scanner, and you go to inputs, these are a little bit different because this says 1 hour. So both of these are going to be set to 1 hour in here. And down at the bottom, it uses the FOMC group. Okay. And so this one, they're both going to be set to 3 hours. It's going to say the FOMC group. This is both going to say 4 hours, set to the FOMC group. The other groups that I do, they are groups 1 and 2. All right. So Masood, this is a lot of information I'm giving you right here, I know. But the way that these come together, and this is what I'll be doing in 6 minutes. All right, in 6 minutes, I'll copy this. I'll just make a screenshot of this, and I'll give it to my minions. And my minions go out and do all that stuff that I just showed you. They go out and do all that for me, for all of us. But in here, it looks at either. So it's either one of those calculations that I showed you. Dan, I think that was the question that you had asked. It's either one of the calculations that I showed you. Yeah, I'm going to share the whole thing with you. The scanner is inside the TV Trades, the TV Trades tool. But I'm going to give you this too. All right, this is groups 1 and 2. Okay. Groups 1 and 2. And that's 1A and 2A. And 2A. Or 1A and 1B and 2A and 2B, I think is what I have it set to. Something like that. But that's groups 1 and 2. And we'll do groups 3 and 4. Okay. And Jessica, are you still out there? Okay, so it's doing all the calculations here on groups 3 and 4. It's taking a little bit longer. So these are all the ones for tomorrow so far. These are all going to change here in 5 minutes. These are all going to change. But these are groups 3 and 4. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's give you the actual group here. Okay. Now to be able to use this, you got to be able to see 4 charts at once. So essentially, you're not going to be able to use, if you have the essential trading view, you're not going to be able to do this because you're going to be able to see 4 charts at once. But I'll send that one to you as well. So you have the FOMC, the groups 1 and 2, the groups 3 and 4, and now the 0 DTE signals. Okay, the 0 DTE signals. They also trigger at 3:30. And right now there are no 0 DTE signals for tomorrow, but I'll share this one with you too. All right, so when there are 0 DTE signals, you'll have them in there. Now, for any of you guys who are not subscribed to TV Trades, if you're not subscribed to TV Trades, these aren't going to give you anything. Right, there's one 0 DTE signal right now, the IBIT for tomorrow. Now you can click on these links, but it's not going to give you anything. All right, you got to have authorization to view all these things. So if you haven't taken the trial and you want to take the trial, then go here to tv-trades.ai, click on free trial. All right, I always forget to say all that stuff. So I've hardly traded at all so far in this session. Most of the trades trigger in the last 15 minutes, so I don't mind that. I think in the last session we were negative when I got into the last 15 minutes. But right now we have 2 minutes left before all this stuff changes. And you'll see, we'll just leave this up here, the FOMC stuff right now. And when the 6-hour candle closes here in 2 minutes, you're going to see all these things change. Or if you watch groups 1 and 2, these are all going to get filled in. You'll see there's going to be a lot more than these 6 when that candle closes in 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, you do have it, Masood. It's this right here. Click on the TV trades. That's your scanner. Okay. Do I calculate the results excluding the losses? What do you mean excluding the losses? Let me show you the results that I got a little while ago, okay, as they were calculated for me by the minions. Hang on. Here are the results for today so far. It's got all the losses and all the gains so far, using the high of the day and the last price as the calculation. Okay, the high of the day and the last price is the calculation. So this number down here is all those added up. Okay, Joe. So it includes the losses. It doesn't exclude the losses. If you want to do it excluding the losses, you can do it manually if you want to. Okay, and this was the FOMC for today. Now I'm going to change the FOMC to just be the F group, okay, because the FOMC is misleading. Everybody thinks it's, when I'm doing it every day, it's not really an FOMC thing anymore, is it? And the place that I want to get this, now that, stocks are going to 24 hours or 23 hours or whatever, the place that I want to get this is you'll be able to do this stuff first thing in the morning and exit the same day. All right, so you'll be able to get the options and stuff like that, get the signals. Watch it 3:30 right here. There it is, bing. See that? All those just filled in. This is groups 1 and 2. There was nothing here, and there were only 6 altogether a minute ago. And now you can see the scored and the simple. Dan, you were asking about the scored earlier. The scored is the one that uses the div line in the synthetic divergence. The simple is the one that uses the step line in synthetic divergence. Both is when they both have a signal. Okay, so this is what's going in groups 1 and 2. Right now, I'm making the cut right here, and this is what's going in groups 1 and 2. All right. These, however many it is groups 1 and 2. All right. So all the stuff that I just showed you, I am giving to the minions right now, and they are going to go figure all that stuff out for us while I show you some more stuff and I put some more trades on. And here's groups 3 and 4. It's going to be different than those 6 that were shown before. Okay, groups 3 and 4 populate right now. Look at all those symbols. Okay. So now originally I would go out and do all this stuff manually, but I didn't have time to get it all done for you guys in time for you guys to actually place the trades, or in time for me to place any trades. So I have my minions do all this. Okay. And they'll get all this stuff done in just a couple of minutes. I don't have to do any of it. So this is the FOMC scanner right now. And these are the results for the FOMCs. So I will say paste. So groups 1 and 4 and FOMC for 8/28 expiration. And did we have any 0 DTEs? Let's check that guy right now. Open layout, 0 DTEs. Just the IBIT still. Okay. So the IBIT 0 DTE. Now IBIT, nope, it just went away. I'm going to skip the IBIT. The IBITs, they used to be Monday, Wednesday. I mean, they used to be every day, but I think they switched to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the IBIT just went away. It's back. It's gone. It's back. It's gone. I'm going to leave the IBIT off. All right, I'm just going to leave it off. We'll just say no 0 DTEs. Okay, there's enough signals out there. So now the minions are going out there to figure all that stuff out. All that stuff that I showed you, Masood, where you got to take it and you got to go out there and and do that. Did I post the 0DT layout? I think I did. Didn't I? I'll do it right now if I didn't. Here. This is the 0DT one. Okay. So you guys have access to all the layouts. So you just open up the layout, and it's going to tell you do it at 3:30 in the afternoon, and it will tell you what you need to trade. Now, I want to show you guys something. This is something that Jessica actually brought to my attention the other day, and she really digs into this stuff. And one of the things that she pointed out was taking the top 5. If you just trade the top 5, because people are saying, well, which ones do I pick? And it goes in order from the top to the bottom. Not the FOMC so much, but the regular picks go in order from the top to the bottom in the likelihood to have a gap and the amount of the gap. Okay. And if you go back and you look at all the results, if you did the top 5 of all the results going back months, every day it was positive. Now the top 5 are pretty expensive most of the time. Right now these right here are not that expensive. Just .net, that's $820 for that one. But in here, I guess the bunch of these, all 5 of these together, might be $800. But again, that was something that she had pointed out. At some point, she wants to get to where she can just do the top 5 and be good with that. Now, the 0DTE stuff, that is some days we don't get any. Like today we had that one IBIT that was flashing, and I'd rather skip the one IBIT that was flashing right now. Okay, there's plenty that were available in the other ones that I just did. All these other ones in here, there were plenty available in all that stuff. So I'm going to go back to the volume here, so we might be able to place a few more trades hopefully as we start getting toward the end of the session, because so far we have just one trade with 12 ticks on the NQ, and we're averaging $4,000 in these sessions, and right now that would put us at 600. So we're a long way off with the averages. All right. I feel like that was a lot of stuff. Did I see your question above? It's actually below somewhere. I did not see it, Wayne. Which question? There really isn't a reason to run it before 3:30, correct? Right. That is correct. Because the 6-hour candle closes at 3:30. Okay. So between 3:30 and 4, if you're going to use the 6-hour candle stuff, between 3:30 and 4 is the time to do it. The FOMC, though, if you look at the FOMC thing, crap, hang on, let me cancel it. I already got the FOMC open somewhere. Here it is. The FOMC, if you look at the candles themselves, this closes once every hour, so this one's going to trigger every hour. This one closes at 9:30, 12:30, and 3:30, so this one closes 3 times a day. And this one closes at 9:30 and 1:30, so this one closes 2 times a day. All right, so you can look at the FOMC stuff multiple times a day and get trades out of it. If you have something like at the open of the session, all 3 of these trigger. All 3 of these have bars that trigger or that close at the open of the session at 9:30. So if you get something that's on all 3 of these, or even on 2 out of 3 at 9:30, that means you have something that is ready to react that hasn't reacted yet at 9:30, and that is likely to be something that's going to react big during the day. Okay, so the question was, I do, Mark, in a minute. So the question was, so it doesn't make any sense to look at anything before 3:30. If you're looking at just the groups 1 through 4, then no. Groups 1 through 4, look at them. I mean, at 3:30 is what the question was. It doesn't make sense to look at anything before 3:30. But so if you're just looking at groups 1 through 4, then look at those between 3:30 and 4. All right, get your signals from there between 3:30 and 4. That's the overnight gap you're looking for. The FOMC stuff, if you look at it at 9:30 in the morning, and the stuff that's in here at 9:30 in the morning is likely to change from 9:30 to the end of the day. Okay, that means it's all set up, it's ready to go, and it just hasn't gone yet. If you have it on more than one of these, then that's more than one time frame telling you have something that's ready to bounce or move. one way or the other. Okay. Can you change the time span? The time span. What do you mean time span? You mean the time like from 1 hour to a whatever? You can, Ronnie. Like you know, if you want to drop it down to like a 30-minute or something like that, you mean? 4 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. Just remember, the candle's going to close. It's going to give you the signal. And remember what I showed you what the signal is. Yeah, to a 30-minute. That's fine. But remember what I showed you what the signal is. You know, and it's going to give you the signal and tell you whether you need to be looking for a long, a short, whatever. And you know, if you go to like, let's go inside the scanner. This is what you're talking about, right? Inside the scanner. In here, these are the different time frames you can use. Okay. Now, I don't know why I have a 15-minute in there, and I don't have others, but I can put a 30-minute in there. All right, I don't have one in there right now. I don't know why that doesn't pull it from over here the way the other ones do. Is that from the FOMC group or the other group? The FOMC group often doesn't have 5 in it, but she was talking about the other group for the most part, Mark. But Mark, did you send me the notice to pull yesterday? Wasn't that just yesterday? Wasn't that you? I think it was. I don't remember. Anyway. Okay, well I did. The signals, that's what I want to get to. See if we have any trade setups right now. I do want this back on a 7 range. You're right about that. And if it's going to be on a 7 range, then I got to pay attention to the bar. So on a 7 range, it's 12 minutes a bar. That kind of stinks. So we're not likely to get a signal here on this. All right, because we got to set this to something bigger than 12 minutes. Set it to 15 minutes. Okay. It is not in the update. So it's not that I'm no longer trading it. It's not in here because I simplified things, Philip. The div step thing is part of the option stuff, completely part of the option stuff. Okay, I took it out of here because it was too complicated for me to, you know, when I had all that stuff going on, I'm saying, okay, well, this is going to be match up with that, and that's going to match up with that, and this is going to match up with that. It's not that it doesn't work, it's just that it's complicated to explain. And this is really easy to explain and see and do. So I'm trying to give you the best, easiest, best, I don't know what word to say that in, but that's what I'm trying to give you. And I'm always trying to make it easier, and I'm always trying to make it better. So, okay. The question was, so the div step's not in the update, so I'm not trading it anymore. And it is still part of everything. Yes, it's still part of a lot of things. It's not part of this right now because you don't need it. All right? It was just too complicated. Am I going to post? Yeah, I am. I actually had the minions working on it. What time is it right now? It's 3:41. This is just about when I do. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them in there. Wow. Okay. Wait. Hang on. Here are the groups. Got them. You're in groups. What the heck? No, the minion messed it up. Hang on. Copy image. Paste. Crap. Hang on. Let's just do one at a time. I lost my minion. Hang on. Copy image, paste. I need the pics from Schwab for tomorrow. Quickly, please. 8:28. It was running another thing at 3:45 and it. Yeah, it gave me the result run, not instead of the trade table. There are a lot of symbols in there. A lot of symbols in there. So it's going to have to do it again. It's got to correct it. And hopefully it's not going to take it a minute or two. It took 3 minutes last time. So hopefully it's got some of that stuff loaded already. All right. So, yes, I'm sorry it took me. So I got distracted soon. Well, I was only off by a couple of minutes. So you get those things here in just a minute. Okay. Rendering the picks tables right now. Done generating, copying. Okay, here they are. So you guys get to see them first, though you can't really see that. Here they are. Those are the picks for tomorrow. These are the FOMC picks, and those are the regular picks. I'm going to post them right now in the option channel. Okay, so to do that, I have to close this and copy this and stick it in the option channel in Telegram. Okay, picks for tomorrow. 8. What is it? 27. Control V. It's that one, and the next group, guys, is right here. Copy image, and it's right here. FOMC picks for 8/27. Okay. Crap. I forgot to paste the thing in it. Here it is. All right, so they're out in the option channel. Now I'll show them here to you guys again. Here they are for tomorrow. So the top 5, that one, and that one. The top 5 for tomorrow. So when I was saying that they can be expensive, SNDK's 42 grand. Right, $4,200. Sorry, $4,200.99. $4,299. STX $2,700. Light $2,700. Core $900. Mr. $200. That's the top 5. But if you look at the FOMC ones, then they're not that bad. Last price $500, $400, $38, $473. And the FOMC ones have been doing really well, really, really well. The results from yesterday. It should be running the results from yesterday right now. I had an automated job running the results from yesterday. So we'll see those in just a minute. Okay. As far as these guys, yeah, there's a ton of them in there. There's not usually that many, but you saw how many there were when I copied and pasted them all. And sometimes I might just go through and only give you like the first 4 groups instead of all of them when there's that many. But you can go through here and pick the ones, the ones that I like to trade. I like Mr. I like Riot. I like out of these that are listed in here right now. They don't have a lot of the ones that I like. Out of this whole list, the ones that I like are pretty limited. And Moderna's a big mover usually when it goes. Net's usually a big mover too. IBIT is in here, so we didn't need to do IBIT for the 0DT. You already got it right here. Yeah. Now, if you look at the FOMC guys, Net's in there. Riven, that's another one that I like. I made a bunch of money on that one last week. Net's in here twice. And once as a call and once as a put. And that's not a mistake. It's possible to have once as a call and once as a put. And you could make money both ways on that. Or you could just not trade it at all. That just means it met the requirement for the simple one way and the scored the other way is what it means. Okay. And you have the trade idea for NVIDIA. Yeah, the trade idea for NVIDIA is to buy puts. the FOMC picks, they're based upon a subset, Gordon, of symbols that react to outside influences greater than other ones, greater than most. To the FOMC, really. They react greater to the FOMC. I had 21 symbols, but I had to narrow it down to 18. So there's 18 symbols that react greater to the FOMC than most other symbols that are out there. That's what the FOMC group is. Okay. And the FOMC group, you can trade at 9:30 tomorrow, and that's the reason, Philip, because they react greater almost all the time. Jessica likes D-Dog. She said D-Dog does great. When going long, you want the black and blue above the white line. And does it matter how big of much of the volume? You just want them both on like you said, Ronnie. If you're going long, you want the red to be down at the bottom of the no trade zone, and the black and blue and all that stuff to be above the 0 line. Okay, that's the way you want it. All right, so did we have any more trades in here yet? Nothing. So far I have the one trade on the NQ for 12 ticks. We still have quite a bit of time. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. I gotta go. I got something else I gotta go do right at 4 o'clock today, so I gotta run right after this. But if anybody has any questions about any of this stuff, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, you can email me at support@tv-trades.com. support@tv-trades.com. You can hit me up in Telegram. My Telegram ID is @trading_I_Q. You can hit me up in Telegram if you want to. Got it. So on the NQ, there was no trade between three. No, there was no trade all through here. No, because it was on. Oh, I'm sorry, on the NQ. Sorry, in here on the NQ. On the NQ, yeah, there would have been a trade right here on the NQ at 323. There would have been a trade right here on the NQ. Would have been a long trade. This right here, no. If the synthetic divergence gets into the overbought, gets out of the no trade zone above while all the color is below, then it would be a trade. But you see right here, the blue and the black are separating right there by the white. So you're not going to end up with a trade there on the NQ. Ronnie, sorry. So an SOXL put and SOXS, yes, that would be right. That's right, Jessica. With the black above and the red below means no trade. That is correct, Philip. If it's split up like this is right here, no trade. If it's split up like this and here, no trade. You want it all to be on one side, like all through here. All on one side, all through here. Okay. And let's go all the way to the end. Right here is the end. Okay, so we don't have anything there, we don't have anything here. And we have 9 minutes left. So I'm hoping we get another trade set up in here so we can get some more money. Okay. How do you get the blue box in the middle of the TVT to appear? You mean this thing right here? That one? Yes. That Ross is down here at the bottom. This show combined bar time. Okay. In this case right here, I don't know what I have the black set to. It should be around 5 minutes is okay. I could set it to 3 minutes and be a little more reactive. Okay, because it's bigger than that number right there. But see, setting it to 3 minutes would have given us a trade there a minute ago. This one is 1 minute in between bars right now, so I can probably change that from 15 down to about 3 minutes on that one too. So we might end up with a trade here on the yes. Not right now, of course, but a minute ago. Yeah, let me move some stuff around in here so I can get to my DOMs because I couldn't get to them here for a second. All right. So Well, your colors are going to be, if you don't have the exact same settings that I have, then the colors are not going to be exactly the same as mine. Okay. You have to have the same settings as me. So whatever my minute is set to in here, yours has to be set to the same thing on this one. All right. And mine is set to 3 on that one, and I believe it's set to 3 on this one too. Yeah, they're both set to 3. No, Joe. Oh, okay. If you think Nvidia is going to go up, then yeah, that's what you do. If you think Nvidia is going to go up, you think the semiconductor is going to go up. No, SOX calls. You think Nvidia is going to go down. You want SOX calls. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. SOX calls. If you think Nvidia is going to go down, by the SOX calls. That is correct. There is no trade room for this, Ross. I don't have a trade room for this. This is our weekly trading that we do in here on this. I don't do everything. I don't do things every day in this. I don't have a daily room in this. Do I know if anyone has been placing options using Robinhood? Yes, Jessica, didn't you place options using Robinhood? I thought you did. I think I have a Robinhood option account too, I think. Yes, Jessica said. I thought she did. Yes. So people are doing that, Jeff. In Webull, and TradeStation, and Thinkorswim, and just a bunch of things. Hang on, there was just a trade here on the NQ a second ago. I got 10 ticks on it. I'll show it to you in a sec. Hey, so that puts me at 22. I think it was 10. I'll count it up with you in a second here. 90, 91. Yeah, it is 10. When I mentioned no longer doing the afternoon once a week, I was referring to people who are doing the stuff that I do in the morning session too, Ross. It's not this. Okay, the CFRN stuff. This was that NQ trade a minute ago for 10 ticks. Okay. I'm sorry, I did not show it to you. It happened so fast. That's why I said that at the very beginning, Ross. That doesn't have anything to do with this at all. All right, it is 3:56 and we now have 2 trades. And we're up 22 ticks on the NQ, which is a really low number, but it's $1,100. So, Ross, did I answer all the questions that you had? And Masood, did I answer all the questions that you had? And Mark L., you had asked me a question about a DOM question. Are you still in here? You're not in here. Okay. I'm not sure I could have answered it anyway, but I could have tried. When I am using volume, do I... I'm just using the volume, Ross. So you get everything going down here that you need. You could just about take price off and say right there, I'm going to buy the NQ. And that's what you do. Just like that. Okay, and I did. And it's got a 36 tick stop on it. So we'll see what happens with it. But all the volume is up right now. And almost got me. Almost got me. It's close. We'll see. I think it's going to pop. Needs to get up above here. It's almost there. There we go. Now we're back in the green. It's got to get up to 304 to bump the stop to plus 10. Okay, it's going to get there. You see that number right there? It wants to get there. That up close is a big deal. Oops, it just stopped me out. It just stopped me out. I thought we had it. Okay. Well, we're running out of time here. So that actually puts me negative on the session. Wait. So just make sure the volume is on one side and the white line and the blue black stuff is on the other side. That is correct. And the red, yeah, the red gets outside like this right here. It can go right to the edge, but getting outside is, you know, it can go right to the edge, and right to the edge is good too. Okay, like this guy right over here, something like that. Okay. Now I just took an NQ trade right in here a second ago. And let me just see what I got on that. I believe we got back to positive on that. Yeah, it's right here. Show you this right here. I bought 93 and I sold 99.75, so that's 6 3/4, 27 ticks. And it actually has another one right now. Had another one a minute ago, right here. Had another one at the open of that green bar right there. Am I in it? I'm trying to move. Yeah, I am in it. Crap. Here it is. It's at plus 10 right there. So horrible fill, but 10 more. And the ES had a trade here too a minute ago. I don't think I got the ES trade. Let me just look. I did not get the ES trade. All right, that's nothing here, and it's 401. It's 401, so we better wrap it up. I didn't get many trades in today, guys. Sorry about that. It's usually a little bit more of a flurry here in the last 10 minutes. Right now, it's the volume is split, so there's no trade here. The volume split, so there's no trade there. Does the was have what? Does the what have a trade? Jill. Okay, let me just fill out this sheet because I always forget to fill out this sheet. Okay, the ES, the ES. Let me go look. Let me just fill out this sheet and I'll go look with you. Okay. So today is 8/26, and on the NQ, it's the only thing we really traded with 23 ticks on the NQ. I said it did, but it was late. Okay, I think I'll show you in a sec. Let me just fill this out. I'll be really quick. So we had 5 trades with 1 stop out today. Okay, so it's going to be another 80%, I think, right? Paste. Yeah, 5 trades with 1 stop out, and this becomes a 67. Okay, let me go and answer your question, Jill. It was in here. You were talking about the ES. Did the ES have a trade right here? The ES had a trade right here. The open of that bar would have been a trade right here. Okay. And this is nothing here, and this is nothing here. See, the volume is split in there, so there's nothing in either one of those. Okay. My last NQ trade. This one right here was my last NQ trade, I think, wasn't it? I think it was this one right here. It was my last NQ trade. Or maybe it was this one. I don't know. Which one? Let me see. There was another NQ trade in there that I made 3 ticks on. I don't know how I must have screwed that one up. But the one that you're talking about, Ronnie, was at 15:59. Was it that? I think it was this one right here. I think is what it was. I think it was 15:59:51. This was not a valid trade right here. That was not a valid trade right there. And this right here just about was. It didn't hit the there. That is a valid trade right there. It's too late right now, but that is a valid trade right there. The open of that bar would have been a short right there. Okay. The one with the gap. Yeah, that was the one. That was my last trade. Well, there was another trade in there for 1 tick, so I got 9 ticks slip on it. That didn't count. But that was it. 1636. I don't know what the heck that one was. Was it this? Oh, it was this here. I think it was right in here, and that was a mistake. Okay, well, I won't count the 1 tick, but this was a valid trade right here just a second ago. All right, so we've run over a little bit here, guys. I got another thing I gotta go to right away here. So if you haven't taken a free trial, go here to tv-trades.ai, click on free trial, and it's gonna be down to the bottom. Should bring it down to the bottom. Let's go up to the top again. I like that. Okay, there it is. All right, so it's $25 a week after the trial, or $90 a month, or $9.97 a year. If you are already on the monthly or the weekly and you want to do the annual, just let me know and I'll give you a discount on it. Okay. That is it, guys. With that, I'm going to have to wrap it up. If anybody has any questions, you can email support@tv-trades.com. You can hit me up on Telegram. My ID is at trading_I_Q on Telegram, at trading_I_Q. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming today, and I'm going to stop the recording.